there. And one of the things that we need is public participation and a little bit of help in steering some of these issues toward our board to help. You go to Kern County, unfortunately, this is one of the areas we don't have some of these really important things already in place. Where a lot of the other counties are decades ahead of us in oak tree preservation, in tree preservation, in exotic species mitigation, a lot of that kind of stuff. So yes, we have a lot of work to do, and definitely I agree.
Hold on just a second, please.
Yeah.
All right, Linda?
I realized that you got the arborist report on May 19th, and I was just wondering why, since you knew at that point that those trees were going to be removed, why there wasn't some kind of notice or hearing for the community?
The sneaky factor.
Yeah, you were just asking for public participation. This will be chance.
This kind of doubles back a little bit what Alan said. Trenching down, we thought we needed to protect roots. We never expected our contractor on the horizontal setting the grade to hit and just keep rolling through those three roots. And the younger the trees didn't expect that. And obviously a hard lesson learned in that way. The other
monitoring and need information of where you break ground.
But see, there was the distinction. We're ready for this excavation. Rough grade was set too low, in our opinion, by our engineers. And you top off three roots and you go, what are you thinking?
So knowing that the community had been assured that these trees were going to be protected, how is that allowed to happen? Where is the oversight for this construction?
Well, how could you
Okay,
possibly
and my
know?
second part of this question is, because that's now, I would consider that a construction defect, are we going after the contractor for this, for damaging our trees, knowing full well, and they had full knowledge of the fact that those trees were to be protected?
And the protection clauses were in the contracts.
Okay, then I think that legal action should be taken against them and possibly fired from this job. If they can't, do the basic minimum requirement of protecting an oak tree.
My name is Joanne Klein. I used to work for College of the Canyons. I'm now retired. When they built their library facility, they protected an enormous oak.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, you've seen it, yes.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yes. Why the hell you people couldn't do it, I don't know, but I will say this much. This area is completely overlooked by Bakersfield officials and politicians. We are under the thumb of people like Ray Watson, who really doesn't give a crap what happens up here. Really and truly. And I don't know whether this is part of your general appearance, but you look like you're smug. I mean, is this an ordeal for you? Or are you unhappy to be here to answer these questions? I mean, you're smiling. I don't think this is a funny thing to happen. I think it's very serious, and I think every one of us could be affected by all of this at one time or another, regardless.
Yeah.
I've known Dale McNeely for what, 25 years?
Forever, basically, yeah.
I hired him and his uncle when I lived in Santa Clarita 25 years ago. And I gotta tell you, they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. Why the hell you people didn't even consult him? Why? What is the problem with dealing with people who live up here and who know what needs to be done? That's my question.
Yeah, these are
Why
our
don't
resources.
you
not
do this?
So the reason that there wasn't some hearing
Or notification to the community.
Or a permit from Fish and Game.
Especially since the director of libraries explicitly asked you to put out a press bulletin and explicitly asked you to consult a local arborist so the community would know about it. Nothing like that was done. It's not that we're surprised that it wasn't done, but nothing like that was done. And now you stand here and ask for public input. That's ridiculous.
All right, next question.
Yeah, I don't have. I'm sorry. I don't have a good answer for you on that. It's my position, I guess, that we dropped the ball on not only notification of public, but further on before that, with ensuring that the architect on record was actually had a design that was going to protect the oaks the way that we originally intended.
LA County and LA City have significant ordinances in regards to oaks, and I don't believe Kern County has anything. Is that correct?
That is not correct. We do have policies in our general plan.
You have policies, but there's policies,
There's no
but there's no ordinances.
And we did bring an ordinance to
Right.
the Board of Supervisors in 2004, and they rejected it. That doesn't mean that they can't consider it again.
Right.
But the representation, I agree that this was mismanaged, but the representation that we don't do anything for oaks is not accurate. And so I just, we may not go far enough. We have an oak woodlands preservation general plan policy with oak woodlands, and we have many, many, many tract maps all over the county. We have more oak woodlands in Kern County than any county. We have over
So how is this allowed to
750,000
happen?
Well, I don't know, but since I'm the planning department
Nobody
and not
seems
the
to have
library
the
department.
answer to that.
I guess my
If you're interested in having a dialogue, we can have a dialogue, and we're very interested in your anger. But you asked a question, I was answering Mr. Newman's question.
First thing, there are in several other counties, tree protection guidelines based upon the caliber of the tree or the width of the crown and all that kind of stuff. There are also certain cities and municipalities that require an arborist on site anytime there's construction activities. The mitigation measures, and the protection measures all vary depending on where you go. But if we pull from the best of some of those models, I think that those are things that need to happen.
A question was asked earlier about permits. Was a permit obtained?
We contacted U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. They indicated that we didn't need a permit
Because there were no nests?
because there were no nests. Well,
Who said there were no
I
nests?
talked
You
to
need to find
U.S. Fish
out
and
the
Wildlife.
report that states that. No, I'm an architect, I do this on Gray all the
I
time.
understand that.
Okay, I have
I'm
5
not
projects in
saying
the
you
last
don't-
5 years where we've had to get biota reports
I understand that.
and pull fish and game permits to do any removal at all. It's a 100-year-old federal statute that requires that.
Okay. We contacted California Department of Fish and Game, and we contacted U.S. Fish and Wildlife. And based on the representations that we gave them, they did not send a biologist and say, don't take it down. Just so you're clear, this county does not require a permit to take down a tree. Right or wrong, there's no permit. There's no Parks and Rec permit to take down a tree.
Unless they're.
Okay?
But there are
Well,
general
that's
plan
U.S. Fish and
policies
Wildlife.
and specific plan policies.
Yes,
that
those
look at
specific
that.
plan policies apply to, this is a county project, and I agree that it should have been handled differently. But I just want to be clear about this permit issue. If the Board of Supervisors, if your MAC wants to make a recommendation, send a letter to the board, send a letter, through the board to Parks and Rec saying, we think we should have an oak tree ordinance, we think you should need a permit for these. We certainly are open to that.
last question,
I
do you
just
want to
make
cover?
one more further comment. I have no issue working with the planning department to try to bring forth an ordinance specific to oak trees. Lorelei mentioned that Tehachapi would like to see the same thing. I have no problem doing that whatsoever. We will work at doing that.
They do.
General Services came to our department and said, we've got an issue with a couple trees on site at this Frazier Park library. We can go back and do a change order and have the contractor give us a price to remove those 2 trees. You guys have tree crews that work at pruning and removing trees. There's no cost into the project. If you guys do it, there will be a cost to the project if the contractor does it.
But let me just add to that. It wasn't just cost. It would be going back to the very people who hit the 3 roots on the small one. Why would I want them doing any more to trees? So at least Bob's crews understood trees and had the crews that are a lot more knowledgeable than the contractor who's got me sitting here tonight on the younger tree. I wasn't going to do a change order. It wasn't just the issues of money. It's the very people who didn't let me know until they hit the 3 roots. I don't need any more surprises, so we asked Bob to.
So basically, our taxpayers are still paying just out of a different pot to have the work done.
This project has still got to be done and finished and done right. And obviously, the arborist study that we've now seen has got me concerned about aeration of the soil and need storage of things. And we are going to talk with Tilden Construction. In fact, Warren, when's your next, roughly next week, or is it this week?
First of July.
So we're about a week and a half away that we expect when we come back here, have an action plan from Tilden, how they're going to protect the remainder.
There's a few things going on. I think an ordinance is good for us to work on, but for this specific situation, are we going to want to hold someone accountable? And then we also have the issue of protecting the trees that are there. So what we might need to do as a council is, there's obviously a lot of very interested and knowledgeable people here today in our community. Maybe we could put a committee together and help us decide what we should do about this. It sounds like we should take action. That, you know, this was, and the county is admitting that they dropped the ball. They said it more than once. And somebody needs to be held accountable. And there needs to be some sub-plan to protect those trees that are there. And I think maybe we could get some verbiage from some of our members in the audience of what the committee, what the task of the committee would be.
May I just make one comment? I've been hanging arms here quite a while. I think this would be a good time, since you were putting this together, to kind of look upon this as a foundation for other projects besides this wee one, because we all know there's explosions right around the corner. So we don't have to show up every month over the same thing. Not that that's going to be what you all come up with, but as a foundation for a more widespread. Since we have nothing in Kern County, maybe we need to be the spark to light the world. Because they all think we're idiots.
Okay, hold on, we got a motion on the floor. Hold on, we got a motion on the floor to form a committee in regards to the issues that have been brought up tonight and to help formulate, to come back and help formulate procedures for protecting the oaks and dealing with the wood issue and everything else that was brought up. Now, that being the case, any discussion by the board on this?
That's what I wanted to clarify, was that this committee will, I mean, they're assisting us by putting a hold on things. The committee will discuss how we coordinate to save the wood, how we'll protect the future project, and then eventually maybe come back to this board and say, let's talk about future ordinances
Yes.
in Kern County.
Obviously, I think there's a larger issue here about oak ordinances and things, and I think this is a start. But we do have a regular meeting that we have to go back to, and so I appreciate your willingness to come up here. Matt, I've got your card. We're going to get the contact information from everybody here, and we will get it to you so everybody can end up, you know, communicating and setting up and coming up with these policies and everything until we get something set in stone down the road. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, it's always welcome having you here. Bob, I appreciate you coming up and the information. Thank you.